Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today, the man who is thoughts become things, Neo Positivity. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. Now, this is actually a kind of a throwback because a few weeks back, Neo said, I kind of missed the shows where it was just, the two of us or the three of us talking over stuff. And I said, well, why don't we just reserve one where we do exactly that? So we're going to do exactly that today. That's why we're calling this Positively Neo, because this one's all Positively Neo, right, Neo?
I love it. And I love the name. Walt's good at that stuff, man. Theme songs, like entry songs and titles and stuff like that. So thank you for having me. And thank you for the long time that I've been on here, kicking it with you. It's been a great ride and a lot of great information.
It's been fun. Yeah. We have learned a ton all the way. I think one of the coolest things, you and I have mentioned this privately to each other too. You and I have such very different backgrounds, really, really different backgrounds. And for us to be doing this show and having this great friendship, just loving doing this with each other, I love that. I mean, because that's not the norm.
No, not at all. But you know what? Forget the norm. It's like I said, it's the information, and this show is really medicine. The show is
for me too.
Technically medicine for your soul. And the fact that you get to do this 5 days a week is amazing. My, I guess, supplement for that would be like doing my thing, from midnight till 2 a.m, just being zoned in and just being real verbal about what's coming to my mind, trying different things, seeing how it makes me feel, how it works, and then trying stuff. I have a file on Google Docs. You and Debbie are in it, and it's basically like bullet points, but numbered. And it's like this person, the day they were on, and the points that I pulled from them.
Wow. And you've actually kept all the notes and integrated them into a single document.
Yeah. And take it a step further. Because I do it on my page. I'll fill every episode, I fill up a whole page with stuff. And in addition to typing out those notes, I take a picture of it and I paste it right into the document too. Just to make sure, it's real small, so it fits right in a line. But having everyone's strongest, sayings and things, that it's just been amazing. There are things that are highlighted. And since I'm here every week with you and Debbie, your sections are so much longer than everyone. But the information, man, the information and the emotion and the way it makes me feel to be on here after I leave here, it's just a whole great thing. So I hope everybody that's listening is getting the same thing too. I'm guessing they are.
Well, Barbie's already confirmed it in the live stream. She says she's grateful for you too. So yeah.
Thank you, Barbie.
Yeah, good stuff. So all right, now this is actually kind of your show, right? Because this is the one that you requested for today. So I'll start off the way I would normally start off, like with a guest, is I'll ask them about their background. I already know your background. We've already been there. So I want to know the background of what you were hoping to talk about today.
You know what? I think it's very important in what we do to update ourselves. New mental exercises, like I said, how they make you feel, whether they work, you scrap it, you keep it, you tweak it, you try it again. And so a month later, I could be doing 2-3 more great mental exercises that I've created that I haven't really got the chance to share with the audience. And then when you have speakers on, I want to, give them their shine. And so we don't get a chance to touch on these new exercises.
Well, you got to tell us. You can't just tease us.
Well, you know what? I'm back to the cards.
Okay.
It's not a normal index card. It's the bigger ones because honestly, I couldn't find any more normal ones. But they're bigger, which is good. It allows me to put more stuff on here. But I'm back to adding them, and I added a sub card, a second card to this specific event. I'm going to New York tomorrow, and I'll be there till Wednesday at this place, this dental conference with 50,000 dentists.
Whoa.
Yeah. All saying, oh, I like your shirt. Oh, my parents taught me that. You want to talk about it? And we just have these great conversations, and I learn about them and their kids and their families, and like we form these great bonds. And then they end up calling me into their office to, speak to their employees, get everybody on the same law of attraction page. And so it's just going to be a great thing. So I have a sub card of affirmations and things I want headspaces I want to spend my time in, I should say, on this card. And this is just the general overall life ones. And it's some of the newer practices I've implemented is I'm getting better. I've labeled everything as Gaia because because of the show and everything like that. I was like, all right, this is good. I've always been looking for a solid name that felt good.
Sure.
I said it, but to me, it represents everything outside of me, everything that it's computer, the walls, people, scenarios. I talked with you before about everyone on the planet, basically eyes disappearing and it just like smoke background. And that was representation of energy, and we're all connected. And I expanded that from everyone's eyes to their bodies to everything around them. And I just put everything back at being one big ass vibrating energy wave, which is exactly what it is. So it makes so much sense for me to get a grasp on seeing it better that way, because now you got the whole love thy neighbor because it's a part of me. And now I get to look at situations differently now too, not just people. So if Gaia or Mother Nature, which represents every piece of sheetrock, which is made from Mother Nature, air, us. So Gaia is all, a good name for all of that. So if I look at this situation this weekend of me being in front of said people, talking, gaining confidence, income, if that's Gaia as well, I get to see that exactly how I want it. And love on it. I get to love on that situation that hasn't happened yet simply because it's Gaia.
Why is that, do you think?
Because my appreciation for it now, for this space right now, I can do because I'm here. My appreciation for a successful day Sunday, you get the ego that barks a little bit.
Gotcha.
It doesn't go the way you planned. And what if you don't meet this? And what if this foot starts hurting so you can't walk as much? It's so much harder to see it as this weekend, but when I see it as Gaia, I know my control over it, as far as controlling my mind, controls my future, and that gives me so much confidence in it. Plus, because I got all this proof of things I've manifested from the past, so I'm more able to be confident about it, and I can love on it now. And I know that
That's
there
really
in itself, that just loving on it right now, I know that alone manifests a great weekend. Add all this stuff onto it, and you got a whole mindset shift.
But where do the index cards come in? Because I know you wrote this stuff down there, but how do you use them?
Every time I feel it in my pocket, I'll think of what's on it and say either that affirmation or situation. And one quick example, I'll just show you this picture on the back. It's outlined. That is a box. And I'll show you the box.
All right.
This is the box right here. And the cool part about said box is this is how I accept crypto. So if I go up to you and let's say you wanted to book me and put down payment, $500, I'll show you this QR code, that you probably can't see.
Yep.
And I could sift through other different areas. So I could show you that you scan it with your phone and the money sent. Or the crypto, I should say, is sent. And I wanted to receive a lot more payments, whether it be a down payment or somebody's like, hey, let me get one of those poker chips. Even though I'm reserving my poker chips, celebrity dentist, Dr. Catrice Austin. She's the one who fixed Cardi B's teeth. You probably don't know the song, but Cardi B.
I know who Cardi B is, but I had no idea.
So she's the biggest thing since white bread. Her teeth were jacked up before. And so in one of her songs, she says that, I got a bag and fixed my teeth. I hope you hoes know it ain't cheap. So it's not.
It's true.
But her dentist is Catrice Austin, who's a real good friend of mine. I met her through the dental world. So we're going to be doing some celebrity after hour, hopping and taking some good pictures. And I'm going to be handing out poker chips there. But let's say somebody was like, I don't really want a poker chip. I don't want to order it from your online. Let me just pay for it here. It's like, boom. Or if you book me for a show, put the down payment. Boom. Let's book a date right now. Whatever it is. And I printed out, I bought these labels, sticker labels, and I printed out these 3 QR codes. And so I have them. One's to my website, one's to the link tree, and the other one is to book a meeting. because we do that a lot. I'm like, yo, let's meet. And they're like, all right, set something up. I'm like, no, right now. Stand right here, set it up right now. Because by the time I leave, my schedule is going to be packed and you're going to be mad you can't get an appointment for 3 weeks. Schedule it now.
Makes sense. By the way, I just want to clarify that I realize there's some people who probably don't know what a QR code is. So I just want to let people know about that, especially since most people are listening and they can't even see what you're showing them.
I think everybody knows what a QR code is. It looks like that.
Well, they've seen it before. But they don't necessarily know what it's called.
Here's the thing: when you take your phone and flash on a code that looks like this,
it kind of looks like a maze almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I cover up the other two, because it'll pick them up too. When it goes on that, it'll take you to a specific website, and you can put any website you want. Your home page, your PayPal, Cash App, Pay Me. So you can put whatever on it you want. And so that's how crypto does it. On the front, you would see a barcode. It was too bright because of the screen on here.
Right.
But on the front, you would see a barcode, and that's how you would pay crypto. So basically, it's just a barcode that takes you places.
Good description.
But back to the card, accepting payments. If I want to accept payments, I have to first see myself and appreciate myself accepting payments now, not tomorrow. Maybe in the past. The past works too, because you could say, man, I love accepting payments. I got paid a lot last week. That's a great affirmation.
Sure.
So real big on the back, you see that. And that's my picture. Sometimes I'll pull the card out and I'll just look at it and I'll be like, thank you. Because that's what I say to people. Thank you. And I envision myself collecting that payment. Thank you. And so that's one thing that I do with this card. In the front is all kind of different things. I have something on here. It's the word chase, but it's crossed out. After that it says chill, relax, and enjoy. So chill is like stop chasing it. See it as though it already happened. If it already happened, I wouldn't be excited about this weekend. I'd be like, yo, I killed it this weekend. You see the difference?
Yeah.
So chill. I already killed
it. It's not so much seeing the difference, it's feeling the difference. It has a different feel to it.
That's the whole point in all this. It's like chill. It already happened. Everything went great. You know, and then it's like enjoy it. Sit in that feeling, because the last one I went to of these went great, you know, so I can sit in that feeling and love it and love on that feeling. And the last thing in that line, chill, enjoy it. And it said thank you, because I love the thank you affirmation. But the whole part about this specific thank you is I'm thanking me. And specifically, I was in the car the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear. I was in the car the other day, headed down. My father, happy birthday, Dad. His birthday was last week. We rented a beach house, and on my way there, a song came on. I had my Spotify on some random play, and a song came on by Celine Dion. I forget the name of it, but she was basically telling, you know, just loving on somebody, like, yo, you were there for me when I needed you. You lifted my head, you know, when it was low. You kept me up. And, you know, I love the song, so I start to sing it. And when I have songs like that, I don't just sing them out loud. I try to take advantage of the moment and use it as a law of attraction, you know, technique, because I know singing brings out a lot of emotions. So I was like, okay, who could I sing this song to? God, Gaia, just Mother Nature, and you know, and because you'll apply certain people and you'll hear a lyric and be like, it doesn't fit with that. You know what I mean? So you got to find the right vessel to sing the song to. And
but you got to find the one that works for you, the one that resonates with you.
Yeah. And something in me just clicked, because she said something about, you know, lifting my head when I was down, like you keep me up. And it was like, it was a separation in me at that moment. There was me, the me that has the ego, that's always doubted my whole life, no matter how good my batting average has been. And I just want to get rid of, but I probably never will. And then there was a separate me, and it was the voice that always kicked me in my butt and said, hey, don't listen to that shit. You got a great track record. You're doing great. Don't listen to that one. And it's constant. And it's in here, and I feel like I can talk to it. Like it's another amped up version of me that's always got its hand out, ready to pick me up to that next hurdle. And I started singing that song, and I got just the appreciation for that. It's always been there, especially with sports. It's just been a great thing. So capitalizing on feelings like that, that was the thank you to me. I wanted to make sure I thank
Beautiful.
myself for lifting me up.
Yeah.
And you guys
Very
got to
important.
understand, neo positivity. Yes, I got a lot of great things happening in my life, but I'm freaking human.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
got
yeah.
pains and other stuff going on too. And it only takes one bad phone call, one bad email for that. Damn. And
Yeah.
then
Sure.
that voice comes in. So
You know,
it's
what you're
several
talking about
times
here,
a day.
we're talking about in terms of in, the context right now, primarily of finances, but it really what you're talking about obviously applies to everything in life. I
Yep.
wanna tie it into something that, a longtime listener contacted me about personally, and I
Okay.
he didn't say anything about it, being answered on the show. I think he'd probably be okay with he's been listening for, like, 9 years, so he'd probably be okay with it being
Yeah.
discussed on the show. But he had a question, and I answered the question to my best of my ability, yesterday. He asked me the question. I think he's actually sent it on Thanksgiving Day here in the U.S. But I'd love to get your take on it, and I'd love to have him hear your take on it. He says, I was wondering if you ever felt like you weren't sensitive to touch or sensation, and if stress can play a factor in it. What do you think?
Now you say weren't sensitive. You mean like numb
I get the idea that that's what he's talking about. Yeah. Numb or at least non sensitized.
to touch, physical
Right.
touching
To
things?
physical touch.
Nah, I never
I
had
have
an
actually
experience with
experienced that. So I was able to well, I didn't even address it directly in my answer, but I have experienced that.
I
And
would even though I haven't experienced it, I would tie it in with depression or stress.
mhm.
Definitely, because things aren't working the way they should be. That's what
Yeah.
happens when we're not supposed to be here or there, up here. Stuff starts to break down. First, your immune system, and then
Mhm.
which causes other things. So yes, definitely stress related. Um,
And the point that I
and,
made to him is that when we say that something is stress related, in LOA terms, what we mean is that we're resistant. We're putting up resistance of some kind.
and you
And
know what?
that
Real quick, I just want to say this to him. You've been watching this show for 9 years. You still going through it? It means I think that means you're not dedicating as much as you should be to
well,
your
it also means he's
specialized
human for the same reason you
responsibility.
talked about. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. But I hear people and it makes me feel bad because I do the same thing. Like I'll be going through the same type, I'll go through the same situation for a whole goddamn gosh darn month before
mhm.
I realize, wait a minute, I
Wait a
gotta
minute, I
step
know
up
the
my
answer to this.
affirmations. Like I gotta step up my affirmation. And then I step them up for like 2 days and the clouds clear up.
Mhm.
And so that's why I try to push people. If shit is hitting the fan, double down on your affirmations. Really do them. When your alarm goes off to do them, set an alarm to do them several times a day, not just once. When your alarm goes off, actually do them. When you're watching this show, watch the show. Don't be watching it while you're surfing Facebook on your other phone. Nah, get into the words. Learn how to use it for yourself, and more importantly, use it for yourself. 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. I don't care if you do 100 affirmations. Guess what? What's the over under on that?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
60,000 to
Yeah.
100? Like, come on now. You got a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
And step it up.
I
Step.
agree with that. And in fact, I one of the things that I try to do is I try to notice specifically when I'm going off the rails. Because
It's tough.
specifically when I'm going off the rails, it's the hardest time to do it. It's the hardest time to try to apply any of this stuff.
Mhm.
But if I can, even for a moment, get myself to do that, I feel the biggest shift then because I'm going from a low vibration state to a much higher vibration state in a short period of time. So it's actually reinforcing. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous in a sense because it could also encourage me to just, I want to go down to that dark feeling again so I can feel the upswoop. But
No, no.
but you see what I mean. But it really is true. If you can really notice when that's happening and then use it as an opportunity to apply what you know, whether it be affirmations or meditation or anything else, whatever your process is that you love to do, try it. Just try it. See
You
what
know,
happens. You're gonna get a really interesting result. It's gonna be positive, I promise that.
now I'm gonna ask you something that is funny because I've asked it to a million guests. Um, but the funny part is I've asked it to you at least 6, 7 times so
Okay.
far. And it's
Compare
I'm
my
always
answer to the
interested.
others.
It's like, so yeah. So the question is this: waking up. Okay, you get a bad email. For the next 20 minutes, you're going down and analyzing every bad thing about this situation. Just because that's what we do, self-preservation. We're trying to fix it. In that 20 minutes, there's a point of waking up to what's happening, doing deep breathing and shifting, whatever it is you're going to do, but waking up from that evilness that's going on in your mind. That's the problem. And normally you would practice something mentally to get good at it, but the only time you could practice this is when it happens. Something bad has to happen. You have to wake up early. So how do you practice it when the only time you could practice it is while shit's hitting the fan
Well,
and you're not thinking about that?
You mentioned the words waking up, so I'm going to answer it in that context, because actually that's a great lead-in right there. Because I know for myself, I do much better every single day when I follow a daily first thing in the morning practice. Lately, my first thing in the morning practice has been listening to a meditation recording that I put together with the help of a guest who was on the show about 4 months ago. And she
Is
did
Gary?
no.
Oh,
Um, she did a hypnotherapy session with me. I think her name is Laura, and we made this recording out of that session. And so I've been playing it every morning and every evening to myself. Every morning when I first wake up, every evening when I go to sleep. And just by having that as my morning practice, there have been times where I forget to do it or I skip it or whatever. But on those days where I do that practice, and then I get that email or I have that phone call and I'm experiencing that, the practice cued my mind to recognize as soon as that bad email arrived that I am responding in a way I don't want to respond. In other words, it makes me much more conscious of what I'm experiencing when I'm experiencing a rough patch of some kind. And that makes it easier for me to remember, I got to do something to change it around, because I have this great vibration I started the day with. It's not like it's far away. I started an hour or two ago or whatever it was. So all I have to do is get back to that. And so I'll just take anything from my list. I have a list written on the wall of various things I can do. I'll just take something from the list. And the fact that I did the practice early in the morning, first thing, makes it easier for me to do it when I'm in the midst of the bad email.
Now I have to ask you this. Now you didn't led with all that without us having that recording or that experience to record it. What would you say is the main thing you pull out of it so we could try to mimic and make some kind of recording for ourselves?
Well, I mean, in this case, for me, it was a recording that was meaningful to me because of something I'd done with somebody who was doing some work with me. But it can be anything that is a meaningful practice to you. The main thing is to take whatever that is. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be doing push-ups. It could be eating cereal. I mean, it could be whatever it is that you find gives you a lift in the morning. By doing that practice and making it a first thing, that's the key. Making it a daily thing. It doesn't
Doing the
matter what the
practice
thing.
or seeing it?
Doing the practice,
Doing
doing
the
that
practice.
first morning
Okay.
practice, that first thing in the morning practice. It's kind of like, do you remember in the movie The Secret? One of the presenters talks about the first thing he does when he wakes up in the morning is he turns out of bed and he puts his feet on the ground, and as his feet touch the ground, as the first foot touches, he says thank, and as the second foot touches, he says you. Thank you. He says thank you as the very first thing that he does every single morning. It's the same thing. It's doing a practice to get yourself into a frame of mind to set the tone for the rest of the day.
That's funny. I never seen that movie.
I thought I'd never hear you say that.
Nah, I had forgot that. And as a person with plantar fasciitis, who the first steps of the day are the worst steps,
Oh,
the
yeah.
most painful of the day, I should really be doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Once again, the word thank you comes into play. Thank you for telling me that. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you. I will be doing that every gosh darn day. And it's
In
cool
fact,
because do you get out of bed fast, or is there a certain meditation that you do while you're laying down before your feet touch the ground?
lately, for like the last couple months, I've been listening to my recording before I even get up. I have
Yes,
headphones next to
that's what I was
next to
thinking.
the bed, and I just play. But there have also been times in my life where I had to hit the ground running, so to speak. So I couldn't quite do it in that same order. So I'd be doing it, while I'm off getting breakfast, but I'd be playing my thing in my headphone.
Yeah, selling this house in Jersey. That's I get them phone calls where you got to stand up and hit the office
Exactly. Yeah.
immediately, and then you're awake after that, so you're not going back to sleep, and so I kind of lose track of my morning rituals because I always do 100 affirmations before I get out of bed. I have a
Wow.
counter. I have a counter right beside my bed. I always have one. There's one right there with me at some point, but I make sure I do 100 before I get out of bed. It's a must. And then there's this intention thing that I do. I actually wrote it back. There it is. 100 affirmations. Set my intention and goal.
Mm-hmm.
One major thing that I want to get accomplished today. It's got to
So
be big.
pre-paving. Yeah.
And go through my tasks that I do have to do. All the other ones, go through them as if they already happened and they went great, which I honestly, I've been slacking on that. But the high five, one of our guests on a Friday previously brought back up the high five to me. And it's just an amazing thing. I'm always looking for physical cues, physical ways to lift my spirits. That's why I love stones, crystals so much, because I just grab them and I feel like I just went like that. That's how I feel like my whole chest every time I grab one. And there's different levels too. Those are amazing things. But a high five to yourself on your way in the bathroom, nobody can see it. It's just, I killed it today. I killed that meeting 5 minutes ago, yesterday, an hour ago, last year. I don't care what it is. You have something to high five yourself about. Do it. It's a game changer. I've been in some crazy, not super duper depressing down situations lately, but I've been in some situations where it was shitty and I just was like, to something else in my life that was going great. Like
it's a great antidote.
Area. I'm killing it in this area. Totally different subject.
Yeah.
But guess what? It works.
Because what you're ultimately doing there is you're taking your attention away from that thing that you were bemoaning and groaning and feeling lousy about and turning your attention to something that feels good. And in so doing, you're changing your vibration. And when you do that, the first thing that you were working on, getting all frustrated about, goes away, or at least reduces.
And then you got the fact that your ability to produce greatness because you just high five that situation, which means you have the ability to produce greatness in that shitty phone call you just got.
That's right.
That's a different level of confidence that you're walking away with, all from just going like that and being in a headspace of thank you. It does so much. So you go into that other situation more confident than you would have off of just a high five.
It's really the identical thing to what millionaires experience. Millionaires have, they have not unlimited, but it's seemingly unlimited purchasing power, and it gives them a tremendous degree of confidence. And if they even for a moment kind of go off the cliff, they bounce right back because they have this long series of events that reinforce to them. You got the money, you got the money, you got the money, you got the money, you got the money. So when they have a fall off, it's like, well, I got the money, and they bounce right back.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I guess I hear millionaires say that all the time. They're like, you could strip me down today and I'll be back here in 6 months.
Exactly.
And that's insane. It is.
But that's how the human mind works.
And then you got all the people who can't even grasp that concept, who aren't manifesting that level of finances. And it's like, damn, how do I get there?
And that includes me. That I'm on that list. But now I at least, the good news is I understand where I have to get to. Now I know what it is I have to do. Doesn't mean it makes it easy. It's not easy, but it's easier. It's easier than it was before, because before I didn't know what to do. Now I know what to do.
Have you ever played the game? I don't know what to call it, but it's like, what's your bottom line? It's like, what is the minimum amount of money you would have to have for you to be like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I made it.
Cool.
I made it to that level I want. Because it's like, all right, $1 million would obviously, would that? Or would you be like, I need like 10 to feel like I'm good. So I want my kids to be taken care of. So you play this game where you work that down, and then you could use it with stats. You could use it for likes. You could use, how many views? We played the game the other day, and somebody asked me that about views. And I was like, I think my number was like 3,000 views on a video. I just spit that out. And I was opening my Instagram when I said that. And my second to last video had like 2,200 views. And that I felt happy for a split second, like winning in the gambling. For a split second, then you're like, for the next one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough. Not gonna front, it wasn't enough to maintain. You
Mm.
can't just trick that. You can trick it for a second or so, and then the ego steps in and does what it does. Well, it's not as much as you want, but in order to really get that feeling, there's an honest number. And I went up a little bit in little increments, and I kind of like settled on like 5,000. And I envisioned a video with the 5,000 views, and I said, all right, that one feel good. You know, it was no but it's not. There was none of that. It felt good. So that's where I'm at with it. Am I gonna, and instead of, you know, there's times where I would shoot for 1 million, but I need to add 5,000 in there. This lady did a video on reel. When I say video, I'm talking about reels. I saw a reel with a lady, and she said people are asking for $1 million, and every time they say it, their ego is kicking them in the back. Oh, you can't do that. What are the chances you're gonna do that? She was like, start smaller, it'd be less ego, and then you work your way up. Either way, you're gonna get there. It's gonna be better this way, easier.
That's actually similar to the way I look at that whole thing. I don't usually set numeric thresholds because I can see how, yeah, for the moment I like that one, but tomorrow I might not.
So you think my 5,000 is gonna go up when I get there?
I would be surprised at all.
I don't think it will, but it might. Judging off, yeah, like you said, judging off the past.
But what I go for instead, so that I don't get all tied up with the numbers, is I go for better. So here is X. Pick the X, whatever the X is. Okay, I want to go better than X.
You know what?
I want better
why
than X.
better doesn't work for me?
Why is that?
And because that was my go-to back in the day. When I started doing lives, everyone was better than the one before. And then I made that a promise. Every show I'm going to do, every time I touch a stage, it's going to be better than the time before. And I believe in myself, in my humble opinion, that I've done that. I've done that. So better has become such a normal for me that I can't it doesn't feel as good if I weren't already feeling it about everything anyway. You know what I mean? So that's
so in other words, you've learned to take it for granted.
Yeah, basically. And that's the sucky part, because I'm numb to it now, like not being able to celebrate my victories, which we've talked about so many times with the imposter syndrome. And trust me, if I could take numbers and kick them to the curb, I would. But they come with so much proof, you know, like you said at the end of your shows, you know, you might not see it, you know, everybody might not click like, and you're affecting so many more people because they might go share it. But without seeing those numbers, it's hard. When you have factual, this many people saw this today, numbers, it's hard. It's one of the things I'm working on.
Well, I'll tell you how I make it work and keep it fresh, because I hear what you're saying. To me, that's about keeping it fresh. If you don't keep it fresh, then, like you say, you kind of get numb to it after a while.
Yeah.
But what keeps it fresh for me is the better isn't in terms of the thing. The better is in terms of how I feel about it. So I'm not aiming for, you know, like 5,000 units. I want it to be 6,000 units. I'm aiming for a better feeling than I've got right now with 5,000 units. And I could have a better feeling at 2,000. It just depends, because I get to pick the feeling at all given times.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the time is. Doesn't matter what the situation is. I always get to pick the feeling. So it doesn't actually matter what the number is. All that matters is me feeling better about it. So that's my goal. That's when I say I want it to be better, I don't mean a better number. I mean a better feeling.
You know, you just gave me something. For as long as I can remember, there was either, you know, there was a max, super excited. I'm very happy about what the hell just happened. There was no better, you know, and that was just how it was. I'm trying to receive max at all time. You know what I mean? But you just made me think, if I got a check for $1 million right now, it wouldn't be max. It would be better than max. So max can get better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I can look for better. So I like that, man. I love that. Thank you.
So again, yeah, and even with the $1 million check, it isn't the $1 million check. It's the feeling that you have associated with the $1 million check. Because I mean, I'll tell you, I think I've told you this story before. You tell me if I have or not. But Joel Elston, good friend, longtime co-host here on the show, one time told me how he was working with a gentleman who was a billionaire. and he was helping him with some relationship issues. And in the midst of, they were doing it as a video conference kind of thing. And in the midst of the session, the billionaire looks over at his desk and picks up a piece of paper, and Joel asks him what it is. He says, "Oh, it's a $17 million dividend check I forgot about." You know, he's a billionaire. 17 million doesn't mean a whole lot to him.
No, it's like changing the sofa.
So the feeling that is associated with that check is completely different for him than it would be for you or me. Completely different. The same check.
Yep. That's Jay-Z. He says it in one of his songs. He's one of my favorite rappers. And he says, what's 50 grand to a guy like me?
Yeah.
And he says, can you please remind me? Like, I don't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a billionaire. And it's like, golly. It is really about perspective.
It is.
And the world will adjust.
And it's about choice. Because so often we get into a mindset that says our perspective is dictated to us. But we get to choose that sucker.
So they're both right. They're both accurate. It is dictated
to
us 100% in advertising, every TV show.
Sure.
They're probably playing subliminal tones in the background of TV shows now that we're not listening to. But at the end of the day, it's your choice to be a victim.
You still get to choose how you're going to respond to it. You still get your choice about how you're going to react to it. Doesn't matter what it is.
And that brings us full circle to waking up sooner than later.
Whether that's right.
Bad phone call, bad email, or someone slaps you in the face. There's a choice of what to do after that. You can be on autopilot or take over. That's the first choice. If you decide to take over, the next choice is where are you taking it?
Mm-hmm.
And every time.
Which is where the power of that initial process that we do first thing in the morning. You do your affirmation thing. I do my recording. That's where that comes into it, because it primes the pump, so to speak. It primes our emotional response. So that now all of a sudden it becomes easier. It becomes believable that, yeah, I remember I experienced that just like an hour ago. It's not that long ago. I can remember that feeling now. So it's easier for me to get there if I choose to get there.
And in the spirit of muscle memory, because it's a thing.
Yep.
And in the spirit of practice, because it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And in the spirit of the fact that, you know, when you got a loved one in the hospital, no matter how many times you try to change the subject to be positive about it, it kicks right back in a second later.
Yes.
Use all of that to your advantage. Practice waking up.
Yeah.
So you wake up more often. So if this thing's going to kick your chest in for the next hour anyway, practice cutting it off, doing a breathing exercise, cutting it off, high-fiving yourself about an incident, that some greatness that happened, cutting it off and go outside and look at some trees for a second. Practice cutting it off. Muscle memory. Your brain will start to cut it off for you. And that's what me and Walt are talking about. You get this stuff embedded into your system, and your brain will wake you up to these negative thoughts within the first minute. And that's what you want.
It's true. In fact, you'll also get the universe helping you in other ways. Joy the cat decided to wake me up this morning at I think it was about 6 o'clock. I wasn't planning to get up until 7, and you know he didn't have any, you know, he didn't. There were no two ways about it. He wanted me to get up. He wanted me to let him out, is what it amounted to. He jumps up on the bed. The cat, yeah, the cat jumps.
Let him out to go poop for the day.
No, just to do his business.
Wow, I never.
Oh yeah,
go ahead. That's dope.
He jumps up on the bed. He runs up to where my head is. I'm asleep. I'm you know, snoring my head off, right? He comes up and he puts his nose right up to my nose. He goes, meow.
Oh,
like, whoa, what just happened?
What animal was attacking you in the end of your dreams?
No, I knew what it was. I knew instantly what it was. And I said, no, but I'm still sleeping. He goes, meow.
Does he ever tap you with his hand?
Oh yeah.
That's the cutest thing ever. When the calls aren't out. When the calls aren't out, it's the cutest thing ever. It's like, stop.
Yeah, he did that. He did that. And what he was doing was he was doing me a favor. See, I could easily have seen that as, oh God, he woke me up early to get out of that, you know, to go poop. But I also could look at it the way I did look at it, which was he's giving me a little nudge to say, hey, it's time to start this wonderful day. How are you going to answer? Which way are you going to respond? Are you going to respond with response A, or are you going to respond with response B? He's the stimulus. It's up to you how you respond.
You're dead on, brother. It took me till Wednesday. My son has off from daycare this week, from VPK this week. So of course he's up early now. So he's waking me up.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday and Tuesday, it was like Wednesday, I had that breakthrough. I said,
Yeah.
maybe he's waking me. The first thought was, well, you know what? Every time I get up early, I get so much work done before noon. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, it feels like it's 4 p.m. and it's 12:30. And I
Yeah.
can get an opportunity to. And that's what started the floodgates of the greatness that could be coming out of these days. He's waking me up early because all the stuff I could be getting done in the morning. And that's when I shifted. So, when
Mm-hmm.
he woke me up yesterday and today early, it was a total different wake up, So it's crazy how we both kind of experienced that this week. The week of Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The
Here in the
week of
US,
things to be
Thanksgiving week.
thankful for.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it really does illustrate the importance of recognizing choice. Because either of those examples, we could easily have
Be
turned
the
them into
victim. We
being
could
the
be the
victim,
victim
being
of a cat and a
frustrated.
5-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. We could easily have done that. And we're faced with them often. We get these kinds of things coming to us every single day.
Craziest thing.
We actually get flagged. Do you know that? Do you realize how often we get flagged during the day by life to say, "Oh, here's another opportunity to pay attention. Are you paying attention?"
That's what I was just about to say. Here's the whole thing about both of those situations. We manifested that to happen in the first place.
Yeah, fair point.
And now we're gonna get mad at it for
Right.
happening. What, like, how that is 50 different ways no.
Yeah.
So to be waking up to these realizations and taking these flags differently, I mean, if we take them any other way besides appreciative, we're spitting on our own plan. We're spitting on what we just
Exactly.
manifested for ourselves anyway. And so the reason why I bring that up is because it's not easy for everyone to just adapt this positivity out of these seemingly negative situations. But that's a way to adapt it, way easier. You manifested that in the first place. For you to be mad at it is for you to be mad at you, creator, whatever you believe in. And where's that get you? In the spirit of things, it's written on the shirt and the wristband. Where does that get you? Being mad at the creator for what they brought into your life.
It's another example from my perspective of the value of the better approach that I was talking about earlier. Which feels better, because
I'm ready for that.
we're going to have all kinds of stuff happening. There are going to be days where we're flying. There are going to be other days where we're crashing. There's going to be days in between, and there's going to be periods during days where we're crashing and then we're flying. And that's just the way life goes. So we get lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunities. Right? It's not like we lack opportunities. You have to really work at it to lack opportunities. That's quite the world, quite the life you got going.
I don't even think that's possible.
It is possible, actually.
Because if you think about all the opportunities that come to us, let's say I got 50 opportunities today and I only saw 20 of them, 30 of them I didn't even know were there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're happening in the background. That's why I said I don't even think that's possible, because opportunities are happening that you're not even catching on to.
Well, I can tell you what David Strickle was telling me. He told me this the last time he was on the show. He said, I had been, meaning he had been at such a high vibe, and he had been maintaining a really, really high vibe constantly, continuously. And he found it was boring because nothing ever changed. Everything was always high vibe. He actually wanted to go back into the contrast. So he allowed his vibration to come down so he could ride that roller coaster a bit.
Oh my gosh, did I do that? I know, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And I spend time in long lengths of time in these spaces of high vibration to where I can't appreciate my wins or appreciate the greatness that's happening. I'm like, okay, that was great. On to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure, did I subconsciously dip back into the BS just for some?
You might have even done it consciously. It's a very quick conversation. It's like, bang, you're done.
It's like, oh my goodness, that sucks about life though. It's like, God, let me just sit in it for a while. But we do become numb to greatness, and like celebrities are numb to being popular. Rich people are numb to being rich, so they don't appreciate it no more. Like a $17 million check that's sitting on the counter. I might want to take this in today or not. You know what I mean? It's wild.
That's why the greatest teachers always emphasize the same thing: constant appreciation. Appreciate everything. Appreciate the little thing. Appreciate the big thing. Appreciate the in-between thing. Appreciate all of it every single day.
When I do my reels, after each and every one, because I'll be hyped. Like I love my reels. Like they're the bomb. They're the shit. I'm just gonna say it. When I do my reels, after I finish recording one, like before I even watch the replay, once I get to, because I do them in little clips, I get up and I'm just like, yo, I killed, like, yo, I just did it. I'm like, I killed that subject. Like, dang, I did it again. And I was always at that. That's the max. And I want to feel max after every video. I was not even entertaining the idea of celebrating even better than the last time I celebrated, and here just a little bit. And I'm literally excited to give it a shot. Like just celebrate, high five better. Like I'm excited about this, man. Like that's one of the things I'll add to these cards, man.
I gotta share something with you. I shared it with Jack when he sent me that message that we addressed earlier. But it was a Thanksgiving message. Now I'm on this email list from Abraham Hicks, so I get their daily quote, they call it, every single day. But yesterday's I thought was really, really good, and it applies directly to what we're talking about here. So let me just read it to you. It was excerpted from an Abraham Hicks session that was done in Boulder, Colorado in 2003, June 2003. And in this session, they said, make the best of it. When you make the best of whatever you're focused upon, your future will be better than your now. If each moment you're making the best of what is, no matter what it is, you make the best of it, and you make the best of it, and you make the best of it, and your future just gets better and better and better and better.
I like that, man.
Right?
I like that. That is deep. That's deep. That's going under the Walt category in my.
But that's what all this stuff that we're talking about, this daily practice stuff, this dealing with highs and lows, it's make the best of it. It's all make the best of it. What's the best of one thing right now? I mean, I literally was in a situation 2 days ago where I felt like I was borrowing from Mike Dooley. Mike Dooley at one point talked about how you could be in a situation where there are three choices. There's the sucky choice, there's the suckier choice, and then there's the suckiest choice. He says, go with the sucky choice. Just do it so you can get past that choice of three, because then the choices start getting better. It's making the best of a bad situation. Go with the sucky one because it's better than the other two. But the one thing we do, what is it we tend to do as human beings? We tend to just perseverate on, I only have three choices and they all suck.
That's that tunnel vision. I did a video. I do this live in a dentistry group called I Love Dentistry. And I was talking about that tunnel vision. You're like, damn, I got option A, B, or C. Which one will I do? And this is what you're doing. You're like this, not knowing that there's a D and an E, there's a U over there somewhere, there's a Q, different ideas, different scenarios that you could end up in. Better.
But the way out is the key. The way out is you pick one. What kills us is when you don't pick one. Because then you just keep focusing on, it's just those three. I hate those three. I gotta have something else, but I'm still stuck on those three. You just stay on the three because you don't make a choice. Make a choice. It doesn't even matter which one you pick. Just pick one to move on. Get to the next part of life.
And listen, I know the people listening, some people might be thinking that's a lot to try to, like I say, brighten every room a little bit brighter than it was when you got in there. To proactively do that or try to make the best out of every single situation is a lot of work. But guess what? You're present while you're doing it, which means you're not thinking about BS over here or the bills to the left.
Very true.
And the car payment to the right and a spouse that's doing this right in front of you. Okay, you're present. You've disassociated from all of that. And then you start to go down the great rabbit hole of what all benefits am I getting out of this? Capitalize on every moment. It's going to be exhausting trying to do it. Brain is a muscle, has muscle memory. It's going to start to do it for you.
And I have to admit, I was lucky in that regard because my father taught me from a very young age. The way he taught it to me was in terms of what he understood from being in the Boy Scouts. But he said, anytime that you're in a campground, you leave the campground better than when you found it. And it's a rule for life. Anything that you're in life, you leave that thing in life better than when you found it. That's the principle that you're just describing right now. Just leaving it better than when you found it. Because if you can do that, you're making the best of it.
And you made me go right back to the exhausting part. there are a lot of situations in one day, and it does get exhausting. But guess what? How much would you pay for a better life? I can't offer you a solution that's going to make it less exhausting. The brain will start to do it for you. That's great, but you're still going to have to keep up with that. It's like jogging. You can't get good at it and just stop. You take time off, you're going to get worse at it, or less better, whatever you want to say. Put the work in, make the effort there, and the universe will relieve some of those efforts you might have had to make to clean something up. You know, it's like taking extra effort and time to be with your child in the early ages, and you're closer and more connected and less headaches when they're teenagers. It's like that type of investment, but it's for you. The number one you have in this earth is you. This vessel. Eat right, fill your body and your mind with the right things. Make that investment long term. Stick with it. Exercise every day. You're going to have to every day to keep your mind sharp. Accept it. Do it.
I've been going through a lot of crap lately, quite a bit of which I have not talked about on the podcast yet. You're aware of it because I've had conversations with you. But there have been numerous times while I've been going through this stuff, and I will be detailing it at some point. It's going to be a while, but I will tell you all about it at some point.
You're going to write a book.
Yeah, well, it's quite possible. I wouldn't rule that one out. But one of the things that I've been doing while I've been dealing with this crap that's been going on is literally going from room to room in the house, or from place to place out and about, or from one situation to the next, like I was going out of a campground. So I go into the kitchen feeling grumpy about X that was just happening, grab something to eat, and before I leave the kitchen, I straighten something up on the counter. I'm leaving it better than when I came in. And if I go into the bathroom, I straighten up the towel that isn't quite straightened on the rack. Not because I'm trying to be compulsive about it. I'm not trying to encourage obsessive compulsive behavior. I'm trying to make the place that I'm leaving better, because when I do that, I feel better.
I want to throw this at you. Just remember, frequency. You can change the frequency of a room and walk out. Because I'm OCD with the stuff on my counters, and so fixing them in certain rooms, I might be messing it up. So if anybody's trying to do this, or you're just walking into a room real quick and walking out, remember you are imprinting. With every second that passes, you're vibrating at a frequency. Imprint on that room and leave it better than when you walked out.
That's right.
And on the same note, let's say something was facing the wrong way, like the toaster, and you fix it and you walk out still in a pissy mood. You know, the point in doing that was a vibrating, raising a frequency type deal.
Which means you actually have to pay attention. While you do it.
Don't walk out still as pissy as you were when you walked out.
The idea is not to do it subconsciously. The idea is to do it consciously, with conscious intention.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake the hell up. Do it. Shift it.
And when you do that, when you consciously do it, when you apply conscious intention, it actually does raise your vibe. It may not raise it to high vibe because you're already really low at that particular point, but it raises it some.
I want to say this too. I had a situation where I got an opportunity to do this in the police academy. And the douchebag that wouldn't clean up anything, who looked at me funny because I was always making sure certain areas were tidy, he picked it up.
Really?
I caught him doing that. About 2 months later, it was a 6-month academy. About 2 months later, I was walking out of the room and I looked and I said, I'm gonna fix that next time we come in here. And we were in line because we always walked in lines, and I saw him just fix it. And I said, look at this. Nice. So not only are your kids, who might not clean around as much as you, they see you doing that, after a while they'll catch on.
Absolutely.
You know? So leave every room. Don't you want your kid leaving every room, better than when he walked in, subconsciously? Like, that's a recipe for success in life, because his bosses and stuff are going to see that too. He's going to attract a great mate who, sees that too. You're not going to go visit him on the holidays and his house looks like dirt.
Yeah.
So many different waves, man. When you do stuff, the ripple is just, you got to be conscious of that. Be conscious of your ripple.
in the spirit of LOA, I gave you the Abraham Hicks email from yesterday. Now I'm going to give you the email from today because it's exactly what we're talking about. It says the greatest gift that you could give to anyone you love is the gift of positive expectation. But you can't give someone positive expectation until you know the laws and have practiced them yourself enough so that they are very familiar.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
good, because then
yeah,
you're gonna start to doubt.
yeah.
You know,
Which
if
means
you don't,
you got to. That's another reason why you got to practice. You got to actually
yeah,
do it.
you have to. One thing about the law of attraction is proof. We all know the proof is in the pudding. And if you've manifested some greatness, no matter how much the ego tries to shoot you down, you still did that. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
You achieved it, your goal, whatever it was. So proof is big. Stick to that and focus on it more often than not. Focus on those wins because they're proof that you are the bomb and you can get stuff done.
We're data gatherers, especially when we are among the enlightened ones. We're so enlightened. We're like light bulbs. Um, I laugh at that term, but when we do the kinds of things that we do, we are the ones who are gathering data, and the data we're gathering is all about what you just said. It's about proof. It's about proving to ourselves, yeah, this works. Yeah, this works. Yeah, this works. Yeah, this works. Over
I
and
mean,
over
the
and
more
over.
confidence you have, the better you are at wielding this wand that is your word.
Mm.
You know, the more confidence you have in that wand, the better you are at manifesting. So we're stacking proof. We're looking for proof.
Yeah.
As opposed to
Stacking
just
proof.
brushing it off. Because that's what happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah, I won that. Next, just like gambling. That's why I can't watch people gamble. Because they're only happy for 1 second.
Yeah. I enjoy playing online poker, but I went to a casino one time just to see what the poker table looked like, and I was so repulsed because all the vibration was so negative.
It
Everybody was
always
in such a I
is.
mean, I did not want to test my shields that much.
That's Atlantic City was so crazy because you walk the boardwalk and see a family of 5 having the best time of their life.
Yeah.
But if you gotta go pee and you run in that casino,
Mhm.
you get hit with this. It's like you walked into the casino's made of jello, and you're now walking
Yeah.
through the muck,
Good description.
trying to get
That's
to the
exactly what
bathroom
it's
and get
like.
out.
Yeah.
And then you go back outside and you're like, are you gonna walk to the beach real quick? Get away from the whole building is just it's what is it called when it's like coming radiating? It's
Mhm.
radiating off of the daggone
It
building
is.
cores.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but that's funny where you can catch it. That's one of the few places where you can catch a 360 just walking in a building.
Oh my god, yes. It
But
doesn't take a
Philly
lot.
and
I
New
mean,
York is like a cesspool of negative energy. And then you got really positive places, but that shift has always been amazing to me.
and I don't care if you're somebody who feels like that you're relatively new to the whole self-growth, self-development thing, and you haven't really learned a whole lot, and you don't feel like you're particularly sensitized to all this, just do that once. You'll realize you're damn well sensitized.
Yeah,
It doesn't take
yeah,
a lot.
you get it. And even if you've ever been in a casino and someone told a joke, you laugh different.
You do.
You do. It's like you still laugh because it was funny, so you're still technically laughing. But dag damn it, if it ain't a dark cloud somewhere,
It's laughter with baggage attached.
it is. And it's just, you're laughing. You like other people look at you for laughing
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're mad that they just lost a couple $100.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you're not allowed to smile in that place. Yeah, it's somewhere. I wouldn't suggest it.
So, Neil, I got to ask you. We did the retro show. How'd it feel?
Amazing, man. I mean, it's nothing like just getting down. It's cool to interview other people because you want to pull from them and you want to give them a
Mm.
moment to shine for our audience and all that other stuff. But we don't ever get to really get into what we getting into.
Well, we just did, my friend,
Yeah.
and it's a good thing.
And I think that we're spending more time on the law of attraction than most of the guests because they got 9-to-5 job. You're coaching other people. That means you're
Mhm.
taking on their bullshit.
Mhm.
And you're trying to come up with different techniques to give them. Doing that all day, that's why they say psychologists need psychologists.
Oh, yeah.
For 40 hours a week when they're doing that, I'm working on just this.
Mhm.
And I like to be able to not showcase it, but get that information out there. because it's been working. It's been time tested. I've been manifesting. I've been doing this. I'll tell you a real quick story. They love me. I've been saying that affirmation, but when I say it, I'm applying it. But Walt, I don't know what it is, but I have this thing where I show up at a convention with 2,000 people, and by day 2, everyone there knows who I am. Everybody's
That doesn't
talking
surprise
about
me
me.
at all. That not even a little bit. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Bro, and I'm not trying. I just have
You're being
conversations
Neo.
with people. Yeah, I just have real conversations with people. And by day 2, the owner's coming up to me like, I've been hearing all this stuff about you. And so I've been keying in on that. For me to say they love me and think about any of these 10 situations I've been in the past month or so, it's easy and it feels great. And the next day I had a meeting with this conference owner, Lou. He's cool as hell. And at the end, he just was showering me with compliments that weren't like, you're the bomb. They were different. He explained to me what he saw.
Nice.
He thought I was just at this place to party because I knew the owner, and he just wanted to get to know me. And from what he learned and what he was just like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what it is, but when people see you, they just want to be near you. They look at you and they're like, I want to be around that guy. And like he was explaining some things to me, and so it was like, yo, that was like the universe was giving me that they love me right back at me. So I'm back on that. I'm using that a lot. And this weekend's gonna be amazing.
And of course, we know why that is. We know why it is that people feel that way. It's because it's high vibe. Your whole thing is being high vibe, and high vibe feels good. People, they may not know what high vibe is. They may not be able to label it, but boy, they can feel it, and they know they'll want more of that.
Dude, because I'm not doing nothing special. I'm not juggling.
No,
I'm not telling jokes in the corner to
you're
a crowd.
just being happy Neo.
Talking, and it's just like I'm with it. I'm with that. I'm happy. There's no explanation. I'm with it. Let's just keep going. Always, and it's a beautiful part. I'm gonna always be this me.
That's even better.
Always been this me.
That's even better. Hey, I'm going to give you what I give to guests because it applies to you too. There are many people you've never met, you've never seen, whose lives you've touched in so many different ways, and I want to thank you on their behalf for all those things that you do for those people that you've never met and that you've never seen.
I love it. Every time I hear it, I love it because there's so many more of them than the likes and the views.
Yeah,
it's a multiple. So I love hearing that. Thank you, and right back at you. And as always, I'll give you my sign off. Thank you for your service to all military and first responders.
Beautiful.
You guys are doing it. Keep it up.
I love that too. And thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.